Yo, what's going on, Dragon Ballers? Welcome back to another video. Pretty interesting one today. As you guys saw by the title, we're talking about whether or not Red Yellow Surge Goku should be banned. Now, we know we're on the schedule where when a new set releases, we're getting an update to the banned, forbidden, and limit list. But with everything going on in the world right now, we don't know if set 10 is going to be delayed. We don't know if it's going to be on time. We know the expansion sets with the Unison leaders and Unison cards are already delayed, so we don't know what's going to go on with set 10. But Red Yellow Surge Goku is a very contentious point in the community for a lot of reasons that we're going to talk about in today's video. So I want to know in the comments what you think, and maybe after watching this video, if you don't have your own opinion, you can let me know in the comments what you think, whether Red Yellow Surge Goku should be banned, should stay around. Maybe errata, I don't know. I don't really think it needs an errata. Like, I think it'd either be banned or stay. But anyways, if you guys are new here, make sure to subscribe, hit that bell so never miss a video. If you guys want to help support the channel during this trying time, lots of free ways to do that. You could like the video, maybe share it, maybe watch an ad. If you want to buy any of the cards you see in today's video, you can always use my link in the description to TCG Player or Beard Collectibles. All that stuff does help out a great bit. With that being said, we're getting right into this. So Red Yellow Surge Goku. I gotta say Red Yellow because there is another Surge Goku out there. So annoying. But anyways, so this leader is incredibly powerful and incredibly generic, which is one of the main reasons why people are arguing for its potentially get banned. So auto, when this card attacks, draw 2 cards, then choose 1 card in your hand and place it in your drop area. Notice how it's not like Beerus, which is kind of like the Red Yellow leader that kind of predated this leader, where you have to pitch a red or yellow card. So that ability right there gives you free filter, and it allows you to pitch any card, so it could be any color, which is pretty nuts. Awaken Surge, put a red and a yellow card underneath your leader, untap 1, draw 3 cards. Now again, the genericness of this leader is insane because putting a red and a yellow card under it allows you to really tap into any color pool in the game. I mean, back, I don't know, maybe like 3-4 sets ago, probably even more recent than that, people were talking about how tricolor decks can never be a thing. They'll just be cramming too much into the deck. But now with multicolor, you could put a red-blue card under Surge Goku and still awaken. So for that power, that generic utility, on top of the powerful cards you have access to in every color, this leader is pretty nuts. And there's other things we'll talk about later as to why this leader is insane because of the colors it's associated with. But anyways, the Awaken side, still incredibly generically powerful. Activate main/battle once per turn. If life's at 5 or less, which is a really good life point to be at, unlike a lot of other leaders, they need to be at 4. Some of them need to be at 3 life in order to use their surge abilities. You can either negate all the skills on your opponent's side of the field in their battle cards, ignoring barrier, which is really insane. But the even better effect that comes up almost 99% of the time more often, if you're a Surge Goku player, you know this, I know this. This card gets plus 10,000 power and critical for the duration of the turn. Both of these effects are amazing offensively and defensively. Like back when Piccolo Assimilated Ability was a really good card, you could just remove the barrier, snipe it with a Beerus No Holds Barred or any other form of removal you had in your deck. But the plus 10k is a double Senzu Bean for no hand investment, which is honestly a super strong effect. I don't know if this effect can ever be power crept, honestly, unless they really go over the top with a new leader that has like a plus 15k or I don't know, a plus 20k. I don't even want to think about that because that would be insane. But anyways, these are some of the reasons why people think this leader should be potentially banned, because it's kind of super ultra generic and ultra powerful. So looking at some of the cards on the screen here, I did talk about before how because you only have to put a red and yellow card underneath it, your color pool is pretty much open to any color in the game. I mean, now with red green cards, blue yellow cards, blue red cards, your leader in Surge Goku is basically open to anything. And to be honest with you, red and yellow and their respective counterparts in terms of multicolors really do have some of the most powerful cards in the game. Frost Deadly Poison is really what opened up the tricolor variant of Surge Goku. So a lot of people that know the channel here and are fans of the channel and know me, they know that I'm a really big fan of pure red yellow Surge Goku, as the deck was quote unquote, you know, intended to be played with the color scheme it was built around. And that's just your typical good red yellow cards. You have Grade 8 Bardock Raider's Warcry, you have Super Saiyan Vegeta Exploiting Weakness, you have Super Saiyan 4 Goku Heartfelt Plea coupled with Beerus No Holds Barred. And the deck is really powerful because the red yellow cards you have at your disposal are ultra generic and ultra powerful. I don't think any other colors have any cards that are quite as powerful as Exploiting Weakness, which is an entire board wipe. You have cards like Giant Ball if you don't want to play Frost Deadly Poison. You also had Crusher Ball before Giant Ball came out. Just such incredibly generic power Now you bring that in with set 9, you have cards like Cooler Tyrannical Assault, which like we talked about before, it's a blue-red card, so it satisfies your leader's awaken condition. And then you have super combos like Beerus Divine Obliterator, which are again ultra generic. As long as your leader is red or blue, and this leader is red-yellow, so it's red, you're able to untap blue-red energy, get the coolers on the field. You know, this Frieza Clan Surge Goku is another really popular build that's popped up. You know, blue, red, yellow, and depending on whatever multicolor main engine you want to use, but you can still play a blue, red, yellow engine, mostly blue, red, and then still splash Frost Deadly Poison. So the just generic ability of this leader is insane. And then you have new cards from Draft Box 5 that just make generic yellow, generic red stuff even more powerful. One of those cards, for example, Bergamo Ferocious Roar. When you Crusher Ball something, when you Frost Poison something, you tap 2 energy, you play it, then you tap 2 more of your opponent's cards, energy or battle cards. So I think that red and yellow are some of the most generically powerful cards in the game right now. Like, they don't really necessarily work around a theme, they're just so generically powerful, which we'll talk about some other meta decks in this format. They are kind of theme based. But anyways, I think the main comparison talking about whether red yellow Surge Goku should be banned or not always comes back to this leader. Heightened Evolution SS3, the original SS3, not the reboot. This was the most powerful generic leader, quite possibly of all time, for how generic you could actually be with it. So real quick, you can only have up to 6 energy. You, at the start of the game, if you have no energy, you discard a card and then charge 2 cards from your life. Awaken, draw 2. And then on the awaken side, when you attack, draw 1. At the end of your turn, choose up to 3 of any of your energy, doesn't care what color it is, and untap them. So this leader was so powerful back in the day because you could make any play, not get punished, because during this time there really wasn't much counterplay. But even if you did get counterplayed or somehow interrupted, you're getting 3 free energy back to play defense on your opponent's turn, which is incredibly powerful. You'll notice, if you know about the reboot SS3 leader, it only untaps mono blue energy, which was a popular discussion point people were talking about for how to fix the leader. Eventually this leader would go on to get banned because of how generically powerful it was. So this is, I think, the main comparison when you're talking about SS3. Now, when you're talking about SS3 compared to Surge Goku, the times were different. And what I mean by that is SS3 really had 2 formats where it shined, and one of those was Mecha Frieza format. Now, Mecha Frieza format, for those of you that don't know, I do have a video on the channel talking about the history of Mecha Frieza format if you want to check that out. But anyways, the quick pointers are Mecha Frieza was a tier 0 strategy that really had no contest. There was really nothing that could compare to the strength of Mecha Frieza in its time. Activating free extra cards, your Encouraging Presence Monaka would draw you a card and take you a life. Your Planet Vegeta would search your broken super combo or any other sand you needed from your deck and also take you a life. So Awakening turn 1, having a massive hand, just controlling the game with 4 cold bloodlusts. There was really nothing that could compare to this leader, and the closest thing to that was SS3. Because again, you get to start the game on turn 2. You get the free energy back on your opponent's turn for defense. It was the next most free thing next to how free Mecha Frieza was in terms of its abilities. So for then, you had like SS3 Red Blue, which abused Chain Zeno because, you know, if you're going to cold bullish your opponent and drop 4 monkeys on them in 1 turn, what's the most broken thing you can do next to that? Well, probably resolve a Chain Zeno combo to wipe all that away. So SS3 was probably the only good rogue deck that format. But then once Mecha Frieza got banned, we had Hirudegarn come out with set 4 very shortly after, and that was the rise and fall of Storm format. So in terms of Storm format, SS3 and Hirudegarn, and kind of set 2 Trunks in there here and there, they were the most playable and strongest leaders in that format. I would dare to say that SS3 was the even stronger leader in that format, because if I do recall correctly, SS3 Storm won more major events and all other forms of SS3 as well. There was Mono Blue, Blue Green, Blue Red. SS3 would go on to win more premier events than Hirudegarn Storm would, if my memory does serve correctly. So if you look at it in terms of this context, SS3 was always one of 2 leaders that were playable. It was really Hirudegarn Storm and nothing else besides SS3, which is very powerful. And then Mecha Frieza, SS3 is the only thing that could kind of compare to it. So now if we talk about Red Yellow Surge Goku, the decks next to that in terms of U7 Invoker and Piccolo Surge, those 2 decks are actually arguably the strongest decks in the format, and Surge Goku is kind of like the one underdog that can kind of fight against those decks. You know, Surge Goku, U7 Invoker rather, and Surge Piccolo are 2 of the strongest decks in the format. They are control-oriented decks, and when it comes to mid-range, there isn't much out there except for Surge Goku. I mean, you have Cooler, you have a few other really rogue things, but in terms of mid-range, Surge Goku is the only thing that really holds up because of how powerful the cards in his pool are. U7 Invoker and Piccolo Surge, like I talked about before, are very thematic. You're either playing, you're playing all the Invoker stuff in U7 Goku. You're playing all the successor stuff, typically, or blue-green hand control in Piccolo. But how powerful Goku is, Surge Goku, you're able to really diversify your deck. Whether you want to play the standard red-yellow, the blue-red-yellow, with any color combination you want, it gets really powerful. But the other thing about it is, there are many other decks in this format that can still compete with all three of these powerhouse decks. We're looking at Reboot Gohan. We're looking at Mono Black Buu. We're looking at Red Green Broly. These are decks that have made splashes in the format, and they're really powerful decks. Like, these decks can beat any of the top three decks I just mentioned, U7 Invoker, Surge Piccolo, Surge Goku. These decks that I talked about before, or a second ago, have a very fair shot of beating these decks. And there are other decks in the format as well that are really powerful. So I think when you're looking at Surge Goku and talking about whether or not it should be banned, I think that's kind of the approach you need to take with it. Yes, it's incredibly generic. Yes, that kind of poses some deck building problems because, well, why would you go with any other leader when you just go with Surge Goku? And that might become more of a problem down the road. It's certainly possible. And I was definitely one to say that SS3 should be banned because of how just dominating it was in the leader position. There really was no better leader to go with when you were building a deck. But in this format, there are some better choices, and I do like that Surge Goku, or maybe not like, I do think that it's important that Surge Goku is kind of the only mid-range deck you can play right now, and maybe they have to print some more powerful leaders to fix mid-range. Maybe they have to tune down the aggro and the control a bit. I don't know, but personally, I don't think Surge Goku needs to be banned. Of course, I'm a little biased. I love playing this deck. I love this leader. But I think for the reasons I presented, it's a bit of a logical assumption as well. So I want to know what you guys think in the comments below. Do you think that Surge Goku needs to be banned? Let me know what you guys think. Give me your reasoning in the comments. Thanks for watching. I will see you guys all next time.